The battle lines are drawn, not on a physical battlefield, but in the ethereal realm of algorithms and data. On one side stands OpenAI, the American powerhouse that unleashed ChatGPT upon the world, sparking a global AI frenzy. On the other, a challenger emerges from the east, Manus, the self-proclaimed first fully autonomous AI agent, a product of the Chinese startup, Monica.im. This isn't just a product launch, it's a geopolitical chess move, a cultural clash, and a profound challenge to the very definition of work, intelligence, and human agency. The showdown has begun, and the world is watching, with a mixture of excitement, apprehension, and a deep sense of unease. The roots of this confrontation run deep, far deeper than the recent headlines suggest. OpenAI, born in the heart of Silicon Valley, embodies the Western ethos of open innovation, collaboration, and, to a degree, democratic ideals. Its mission, stated explicitly, is to ensure that artificial general intelligence, AGI, benefits all of humanity. This is a noble goal, reflecting a deep-seated belief in the power of technology to uplift and empower. But it's also a reflection of a particular cultural context, one that values individual liberty, transparency, and a healthy skepticism of centralized power. Manus, in contrast, emerges from a very different soil. China's approach to AI is inextricably linked to its national ambitions. The Made in China 2025 plan and subsequent AI-specific strategies lay out a clear vision to achieve global dominance in artificial intelligence by 2030. This is not simply about economic competitiveness. It's about national security, social control, and geopolitical influence. The Chinese government views AI as a strategic asset, a tool to be wielded in service of the state. This is reflected in the vast resources poured into AI research, the close collaboration between tech companies and the government, and the, shall we say, relaxed approach to data privacy. The societal context, therefore, is profoundly different. In the West, AI is often viewed with a mixture of optimism and anxiety. We see its potential to cure diseases, solve climate change, and boost productivity. But we also fear its potential for job displacement, algorithmic bias, and even existential risk. In China, the narrative is more uniformly positive, at least on the surface. AI is presented as a tool for national progress, a way to leapfrog the West and achieve a great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Dissenting voices, of course, are less likely to be amplified. The core element of the Manus versus OpenAI showdown is the concept of agency. OpenAI's products, while incredibly powerful, are still fundamentally tools. ChatGPT can generate stunningly human-like text, but doesn't act in the world. It responds to prompts, it doesn't initiate. Manus, on the other hand, claims to be an agent, something that can formulate goals, plan steps to achieve those goals, and execute those steps without constant human intervention. This is a bold claim, and it's the heart of the conflict. The logic behind Manus, according to its creators, and the limited information available, is a combination of large language models, reinforcement learning, and, perhaps most crucially, tool use. The AI is not just processing information, it's interacting with the digital world, browsing websites, accessing APIs, executing code. It's this ability to act that supposedly sets it apart. But the motivations behind Manus and OpenAI, while ostensibly similar, advancing AI, are subtly but profoundly different. OpenAI, despite its corporate structure, still clings to a mission-driven ethos. Its researchers, many of whom are leading figures in the field, are genuinely motivated by the desire to create beneficial AI. Manus, while undoubtedly driven by the talent and ambition of its engineers, is also a product of a system that prioritizes national goals above all else. The why behind the technology is just as important as the how. The social impact of this showdown will be felt globally, but unevenly. In the developed world, the immediate concern is job displacement. If Manus, or something like it, can truly automate complex knowledge work, the implications for white-collar jobs are staggering. The initial beneficiaries will be corporations that can leverage AI to cut costs and boost productivity. But the long-term consequences are far less clear. Will we see a widening gap between the AI-empowered elite and the displaced masses? Will we need to fundamentally rethink our economic and social structures to adapt to a world where human labor is less valuable? In developing countries, the impact could be even more disruptive. AI could exacerbate existing inequalities, widening the gap between the technologically advanced and the technologically marginalized. It could also be used as a tool for surveillance and control, further entrenching authoritarian regimes. The demographics most affected will be those whose jobs are most easily automated, those in routine cognitive tasks, data entry, customer service, and even some aspects of professional services like law and accounting. The power dynamics in this new AI landscape are unsettling. OpenAI, despite its stated commitment to openness, is still a private company, ultimately accountable to its shareholders. Manus, even more so, is shrouded in opacity. Its close ties to the Chinese government raise serious questions about its autonomy and its potential for misuse. Who controls these powerful AI agents? Who sets their goals? Who is accountable for their actions? The ethical and moral implications are profound. AI bias is a well-known problem. If Manus is trained on biased data, and given the nature of the Chinese internet, this is almost a certainty, it will perpetuate and amplify those biases. This could lead to discriminatory outcomes in hiring, lending, and even criminal justice. The lack of transparency in Manus's decision-making processes makes it difficult to detect and correct these biases. But the deeper ethical question is about human agency itself. If we increasingly delegate decision-making to autonomous AI agents, what does that mean for our own autonomy? Will we become overly reliant on these systems, losing our ability to think critically and make informed choices? Will we become, in effect, mere appendages to the machine? These are not abstract philosophical questions. They are practical concerns that will shape the future of our society. The future, in this context, is not predetermined. It is a product of the choices we make today. One path leads to a dystopian future where AI is used to control and manipulate, where human agency is diminished, and where inequality is exacerbated. Another path leads to a more utopian vision, where AI is used to solve our most pressing problems, to liberate us from drudgery, and to enhance human capabilities. The solutions, therefore, lie not just in technological advancements, but in ethical frameworks, legal regulations, and societal norms. We need to develop robust mechanisms for ensuring that AI agents are aligned with human values. We need to demand transparency and accountability from the creators of these systems. We need to invest in education and retraining to prepare workers for the changing job market. And we need to foster a global conversation about the kind of future we want to create. The trend is clear that AI agents are getting more powerful year after year. The Manus versus OpenAI showdown is not just about two companies, it's about two competing visions of the future. It's about the role of technology in society, the balance of power between nations, and the very nature of human existence. It's a story that is still unfolding, and its outcome will shape the world for generations to come. The human narratives, amidst this technological upheaval, are crucial. We need to hear the stories of the workers who are displaced by AI, the entrepreneurs who are leveraging it to create new opportunities, the ethicists who are grappling with its moral implications, and the policymakers who are struggling to regulate it. These stories will remind us that technology is not an abstract force. It is a human creation, and has real-world consequences for real people. One story might be of a young data analyst in Shanghai, initially excited by Manus's capabilities, who soon finds himself out of a job. He doesn't give up. He learns new skills, becomes a prompt engineer, and finds a new role, shaping the very AI that displaced him. Another story might be of a teacher in rural America, using AI tools to personalize education for her students, overcoming the limitations of underfunded schools. A third story might be of an activist in Europe, fighting for stronger regulations to protect citizens from AI-driven surveillance and control. These stories and countless others will be the true measure of the AI agent revolution. They will reveal the human cost, the human potential, and the human choices that will determine whether this technology becomes a force for good or for ill. The Manus moment is a call to action. It's a reminder that we cannot passively accept the future that technology offers us. We must actively shape it, guide it, and ensure that it aligns with our deepest values. This requires courage, wisdom, and a willingness to engage in difficult conversations. It requires a global perspective, a recognition that the challenges and opportunities of AI transcend national borders. And it requires a deep commitment to human dignity, human agency, and human flourishing. The showdown has begun, but the outcome is not yet written. It is up to us to write it, and we must write it together.